Alrighty, so first of all, I want to congratulate the Houston Dynamo winning their second U.S. Open Cup title over Inter Miami, and I already can hear the naysayer and those people in the comment section that's going to say, well, it's an asterisk win for the Houston Dynamo because Miami didn't have Messi and Alba in this game, and if they would have had both all of those players alongside with Busquets that did play in this one, Miami probably would have won this game against the Houston Dynamo, which for me, I'll just say this. We would never know if that, of course, is the case because that was not what it was presented in this game. And I also like to say that despite the fact that this was a game of two halves, you never want to find yourself 2-0 down in a cup final. And in the first half, Miami was just getting completely outplayed by the Houston Dynamo. And give credit to the Dynamo. They took a 2-0 lead, and when you're in a cup final, usually when you're leading 2-0, I mean, I know there's that old saying that a 2-0 lead is the most dangerous lead, but when you're up 2-0 in a cup final, you're most likely going to walk away with the win. And despite the fact that Miami did made it interesting and they kind of woke up in the second half, they just didn't show their clinical finishing. And by the time when they did get one back to make it really interesting, it was just a little bit too late for Miami to mount a comeback to send this into extra time. Now, in the first half, as I mentioned, no Messi and Alba in the 18 in this game. And in the third minute, the first shot of the game did see Karaskia try to chip counter from halfway line and miss way wide. I mean, I've seen this so many times this season. I feel like this year I've seen it more times or not where players are trying to chip the keeper from the halfway line. And I've seen that it of course it has worked out, but then I just feel like there's times where you don't really need to do that. Like first it's a low percentage that of course would work out, and second of all, it's going to take something spectacular. You absolutely need to hit that one right. And here for Karaskia, I mean, I'm pretty sure he apologized to his teammate after this because this one came nowhere near close of even going over the head of counter. In fact, it was just kind of a weak shot that just go way wide there. But I thought early on both of these teams were looking good on the build up, but the final there was a lot left to desire. It's been poor so far early on for both of these teams. In the 18th minute, Bear would heads it wide from close range and then counter would deny Quinones, but he spills this one right to Bear, and he kind of made amends of it as he was able to deny Bear on the doorstep. I mean, Corey Bear, he probably couldn't believe how he missed that one, and with how good Corey Bear has been this season, you would expect him to bury that one away. But yeah, Drake counter, I thought he got away with one here. But I thought the Dynamo has started getting the better of the chances, and they were looking to get the opener, and they do. In the 25th minute, it's Griffin Dorsey scoring from Artur to give the Dynamo a 1-0 lead. So we talk about unsung hero in a cup final like that. I don't think a lot of people would have thought Griffin Dorsey would be that unsung hero alongside with Artur, and you wouldn't think those two would be the one that combined in terms of the goal scoring and assist chart, but that's exactly what happened. And what also happened was a lightning counterattack from the Houston Dynamo. That's kind of what they've been very good at under Van Olsen, and that yeah, they just got caught Miami completely off guard in terms of the transitional play. I mean, I'm pretty sure Miami realized that of course, was the case, but yeah, I mean, they had a lot of problem in terms of dealing with the transition that the Dynamo was putting in the first half. They mentioned the Dynamo are 4-2-0 when leading the or when getting the first goal on the road this season. So yeah, that's bad news for Miami fans to hear. But that being said, Miami this season has had the ability of coming from behind. But in the 35th minute, or the 31st minute, that is, they found themselves in a deeper hole as a penalty was given to Houston after Yetlin brought down Mikel in the box. That was 100% a penalty. I mean, it was pretty clear that Yetlin did not get the ball there. He got chopped the legs of Mikel in the box. That is definitely a stone cold penalty. And here comes Amani Bassi, the chance to steps up to take the penalty, and he's not going to miss the penalty. I mean, him alongside with Daniel Gasak has been perfect so far this season from the spot, and he doesn't miss this one too, as he tucks this one away to make it 2-0 in favor of the Houston Dynamo, and it could have been 3-0 if Karaskia didn't just miss a sitter in the 35th minute, and it was all Houston up to this point. This is definitely not the script that I think a lot of people thought that was going to be the case. I mean, to be fair, the script says that Messi and Jordi Alba and Busquets was going to play in this one, so it's already kind of gone off the script. But even then, I don't think a lot of people would have thought that this Miami team would be 2-0 down, especially, they actually have looked decent even without Messi in these last couple of games. But man, In this game, it was not that, and especially the defense. Which I will say that defense, even when this team has Messi and all his friends on the pitch. The one thing I've always said about this Miami team that is still a huge Achilles heel and one that could triple this team is the back line. This back line is still not good for Miami, and it reels its ugly head again with just some non-existing defending that was going on throughout this game, and that Herrera then had a shot that was deflected that goes wide. And let's also not to mention the turnover was a problem again. I mean, Miami. This is a team that besides the bad defending that they've been having this season, there's been times where they turn the ball over way too much in a game, and here we go again, where they just keep turning the ball over, keep giving Houston chances to get that third goal. Though Kamaski did fires it high from close range, that was the first shot for Miami in this game, and it would turn out to be the first shot, or the only shot that Miami would get in the first half. Karaskia then puts it wide from close range, and again, Houston was deadly on the transition. Miami had no answer to deal with it. And by the end of the first half, the shots were 18-1 in favor of Houston. 18-1 in favor of the Dynamo, with all five of the shots on target belonging to the Houston Dynamo. And we do head to halftime with the Dynamo leading 2-0. Now, in the second half, unsurprisingly, you knew Tata Martino has to make some adjustment because, yeah, his team was just getting absolutely battered in the first half. And to his team credit, they definitely made some adjustment. They definitely were much better heading into the second half. They were on the front foot looking to try to get one back, and they weren't allowing the Dynamo to play that outlet ball in the transition as much as what we saw in the first half. Though Martinez had a chance here, and yeah, that's one that Joseph Martinez would want to have back. A little spoiler alert: he would get a goal in this one, but this is one that he probably should have scored here. He had a free header there from point blank, but missed that one wide. Before Tarbell would deny Kamaski from close range. I mean, Andrew Tarbell again, another unsung hero. I mean, as much as a Quakes fan, it kind of hurts to see that Tarbell is doing well because of how he didn't really do that much for the Quakes when doing his time there. He definitely stepped up big time with some saves in this one. Miami was definitely pressing for one back, as I thought the momentum was with the team in pink. Martinez then pulls it wide on a tight angle. Now the shots were started to, I wouldn't say even out, but Miami was definitely started getting shots. 18-5 now in favor of Houston, but as I mentioned, Houston have yet to register a shot in the second half. Though in the 73rd minute, it looked like it was a lights out at Drive Pink Stadium as Quinones puts the ball into the back of the net, and this, of course, coming from a lightning counterattack. The problem was Quinones was in an offside position, and it was pretty clear when they go to VAR that Quinones was a foot offside in terms of that. So yeah, that goal of course was disallowed, and maybe a lifeline for Miami because if this was 3-0, it pretty much was all set and done. And seeing that as a lifeline, Miami continued to press to get one back. Farias would hits one right to Tarbell before Orrero would blast it high on the free kick. And then Smith then tried to look for the dagger again for the Dynamo, trying to get that third, but he dragged that one wide. Little did we know that would actually be the only shot that Houston would have in the second half. The fans were sort of heading to the exit as the time winds down. Now, I understand it's 2-0, and I understand that I'm pretty sure some of those fans are disappointed that they pay a lot of money and they didn't get to see Messi in this one. But honestly, that was kind of ridiculous to see the fans start to leave. And unfortunately, that's not going to really help Miami cases in terms of that. For Inter Miami fans, I have heard all over the social media talk about the problem with this fan base. With a lot of bandwagon leaving as soon as Messi gets subbed off or not playing, and that as much as I want that to not be true, that's with the way that fans leaving in a U.S. Open Cup final. I mean, it's still 2-0, and I know there's only a little time left, but if they can get one back, then yeah, things could get a little bit interesting. I mean, I guess maybe that's just kind of a Florida kind of culture because I know from what I also heard, a lot of Miami fans, whether it's the Heat or the Dolphins or even the Panthers, that is, they tends to likes to leave the stadium early when they think that the game is all 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 set and done, and their team has no chance to come back, only to find out that yeah, maybe it's not over yet because for those fans that were heading to the exit, they miss out on Joseph Martinez, getting one back to from Faria to make it 2-1 in this one. And again, this is the thing. You don't if you get one back, then all of a sudden the momentum was with Miami, and definitely the momentum was with Miami, and you can see the Dynamo, they were on a tightrope now. There was a huge shout for a penalty for Miami not given. Campana then heads it right to Tarbell. Again, the Dynamo, they were on the ropes. They were just praying and hoping to hold on to this 2-1 lead. Ferreira's shot then was deflected wide for a corner, and I didn't write this, but on the ensuing corner, it looked like the Dynamo just about getting it. Drake Callender actually came up, and he actually did get a touch of the ball. I thought he was trying to do a Dane Sinclair kind of thing, but unfortunately, it was not meant to be. And yeah, in the end, Houston, they hold on to win their second U.S. Open Cup by winning 2-1 against Miami. As the shots in this one, again, it kind of evened out after it was so one-sided after the first half. 19 shots compared to 12 that Miami has, 4 shots on goal compared to 5 that Houston has, 8 shots off target compared to 4 that Miami has, 4 shots that was blocked compared to 6 that Houston has, and possession-wise, 58% possession compared to the 42% possession that the Houston Dynamo has in this game. And I'm going to reiterate what I said in the beginning of this video. I don't care what those naysayers that say, well, Miami should have won this one if Messi is in this game. Bottom line is, he was not in this game. This is how the final is being played, and that, Houston, they deserve to win this game. I mean, yes, they maybe switched off a little bit too early in the second half, but at the end of the day, in a cup final like that, it's all about taking your moments, and credit to the Dynamo. They took their moment in the first half, and as I said earlier before, when you find yourself 2-0 down in a cup final, it is always going to be tough to come back, and especially if you don't score that goal until like the 90th minute in stoppage time, as Miami did in this one, then it's almost you're basically hoping for one of those memorable cup final that we see where teams score like 2 late goals to send it into extra time in a miraculous moment, and it was just not meant to be in this one for Inter Miami. But again, for Houston, again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You got to give a lot of credit to what Houston has done this season, and especially Ben Olsen too. I mean, it's hard to believe in the year of 2023, Ben Olsen has won a trophy for his team, and that I really think that I know in terms of the coach of the year, most likely when you look at who's going to win it, it's probably going to be Bradley Carnell or even Pat Nolan after he led his team to winning the Supporter Shield for FC Cincinnati. But there's got to be at least Ben Olsen should at least, at the very least, be considered to be in the final nomination of being coach of the year. But because what he has done to this Houston Dynamo team, the fact that he has taken this team that heading into this season there was a lot of question about this team, especially himself too, because when the hiring was made back last year, not a lot of Dynamo fans were very happy about this hiring, and especially with the way Ben Olsen and the so-called penny ball that he plays with DC United was just so stale to a point where I thought it was going to be the same case during his time hiring with this team. Well, that has not been the case. I mean, he's been playing some very fun soccer that, again, if you would have told me this is kind of the Ben Olsen team in the year 2023 would play, I don't think anybody would have believed you, and especially DC fans would not believe you that that is the case. But like I said, great credit to him, what he has done to change the culture, and that, again, this Dynamo team, I mean, they're not done. Like this team, they're determined to do what they did in 2017. Where remember when that team made it to the playoffs, and I think that's the last time the Dynamo made it to the playoffs, and they went all the way to the Western Conference Final. And there still could be a chance that that could be the case, especially with the fact how wide open the West is this season. But for Miami, they're just gonna have to brush this one off. I mean, they still need to try to fight for playoff hope, which is still there. Like the playoff chances are still there within their hands, but they're really hoping Messi will be back on Saturday against NYCFC, because that is a massive playoff 6-pointer for Miami and their chances of potentially making the playoffs. But there you have it. That is pretty much it in terms of my review of this US Open Cup final. As always, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.